This
14 years of
conference will
experience in
now be
SAP.
recorded.
Okay, I am SAP EWM and SD certified. Okay, and yes, currently I am working in one of the MNC.
Okay, cool.
Okay, for EWM I have done one implementation and one support project, and for WM and logistics I have done 3 implementation, 5 to 6 rollouts, and 2 3 support projects.
Wow. Okay, that's nice.
Okay, and can you please tell me about yourself, briefly about your SAP exposure?
Sure, yeah. So I started my career into SAP back in 2006. So 3 years I was in SAP. I started as a technical ABAP developer, and then for 6 months I did like some basic configurations of SAP SD order to cash cycle. And after that, like I left, I was in Bangalore at Dell Services. Back then it was Pero Systems. Now it's Dell Services. So after that, like I came here for masters in US, and I have around like 10 years of experience in warehouse management systems. 8 years out of which are with Manhattan Associates. I'm not sure if you're aware, but they are also into like supply chain product, software product implementations. And recently, like I was with Ramco Systems as associate director, and I was their US solutions head. So I was like helping them with implementations as well as developing the logistics product, which was mainly like WMS and transportation management system. So that's my background, and my interest
do
in
you have any exposure in EWM?
Not really. So that's
But,
like
you are very much familiar with the complete WM, right?
yeah, I mean, I've from process standpoint and basically functionality standpoint, I'm pretty much on board. It's just that application, right? EWM, I don't know how, like what are the latest versions, and I want to learn the system. And also like my effort is towards like getting that EWM certification for, I think it's 9.5 version, right? Of or 95 C.
9.5.
Right. So that's where I'm like directing my energies to understand the system and then eventually get certified into that 9.5 version of SAP.
Okay. And do you have a good hands-on in WM?
Yeah. I mean, but it was Manhattan's WM and Ramco Systems WM. So I started as like a consultant, senior consultant, and then I have around like I was design lead on almost like 7 to 8 projects in the US.
Okay. So understood that you have good exposure in standard SAP WM. So I mean that.
Not SAP WM. Like Manhattan Associates is another company who has a supply chain products of its own. So I have knowledge of those products, not SAP's ERP WM or whatever you call it. So that's where I'm like, yeah.
Okay, then I can start my demo. So
Okay, perfect.
Nikita, can you please make me presenter? Hello, Nikita, are you there?
I think she's on mute.
Hello, Nikita, are you still there? Probably she has started the recording and left.
Okay.
Just a moment, let me directly call her.
Okay.
Okay, Nikhil, let me know once you are able to see my screen.
Yes, I'm able to see your screen.
Okay, so we will quickly run through the demo session.
Mm-hmm.
So this is SAP EWM. So we have two versions of EWM. One is the embedded version, embedded in ECC, that is available in the S4 HANA, and the other one is the centralized system. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and where we have the separate box for the EWM. So
Okay.
these are the current offerings of the SAP. We have the regular SAP ERP WM, and we have the two versions, but mostly it is the same embedded box WM which we are using. Then the SAP started with the EWM and EWM with the separate box, and then they come up with the EWM embedded. So this
Okay.
is the organization process with WM and EWM. We are doing the good receipt. The good receipt is posting at the good receipt area, then which is moving into the EWM bins. Then that is being issued for the production staging. And once the finished good is produced in plant, it will be stored again into the bin, finished good bin, and then being issued for shipment to the customer. Okay, so in the ERP side, the MM and IM, we are managing the stock at the storage location level. Okay, but when we go into the EWM, then this is the EWM organization structure. We have the warehouse number, which is assigned to the plant and store location. The warehouse number will be having several storage types. Then the storage type are further divided into storage section. The storage section is the optional entity. Then we have the storage bin, which are assigned to the warehouse and storage type. And in case the storage section is activated, then it is linked to the storage section as well. And then, I mean, the storage bin is the lowest storage space in the warehouse. The quant is just the characteristics of the material.
Okay. And what's the difference? I don't know if maybe the question answer session is later on, right?
No,
I'll
I
just
mean,
make a
in
note
case
of
you
it.
have any question, you can directly ask me that time only.
Okay, perfect. So this storage type, right? Are these like zones within the warehouse, or what's the difference between storage type or sections, storage sections?
Okay, okay, just a moment. I will. Okay, so if you see this diagram, this is just the diagram I created in one of my training section. If this is the warehouse,
Sure.
okay, if this is the warehouse, then in the warehouse we have three racks. These three racks would be called as a storage type.
Okay. And these
Okay,
are
and
like pallet area, active pick, case pick.
no, this will be the rack, like general rack, which or just visualize the automobile industry. Okay, in the automobile industry, we have a multi-level structure where they are storing the vehicle. Okay, just it is like a parking structure, a 9-floor, 10-floor structure,
Sure.
and they are just simply storing their cars. Say
Okay.
for example, Maruti. Maruti would be having a big structure that they call it a storage type. They have 10 floors in that. The first 5 floors would be reserved for Alto, and then the last 5 floors would be reserved for the heavy vehicle like Desire or something. Okay,
Okay.
so the complete structure would be called as a storage type.
Okay.
Okay, and then it will be divided into storage section based on the lightweight and heavyweight products. Say Alto being a lightweight and the Desire being the heavyweight. So that would be divided into two storage sections. And the
Okay.
storage section would be divided into bin. So bin is generally the position where the product is stored. In our case, the vehicle is stored. Okay, so that you call as a bin.
Okay.
Okay, and in the organization, you can see this is the good receipt point where you get the say, for example, the raw material from the vendor that is being received here, that is then stored in the bin. Okay, and would be staged for the production. Once it is produced, it will again store into the another storage type. Then it will be picked for shipment to the customer. And this is the shipping area.
And the GR and the shipping area is defined like as staging locations, or where do they fall in the structure?
So this is the GR. Okay, and you can call it as a staging area only.
Okay.
Okay, because when the goods are received, okay, it will be received first in the staging area, the GR zone. And okay, the first step would be to move from GR zone to the storage bin. The source would be the GR zone and the destination would be the final bin. While in case of shipping area, shipment, the outbound process, the source would be the bin and the destination would be the staging area, GI zone.
Okay.
Okay, so in EWM we have additional entities like activity area, okay, where the bins are grouped together as per the activity. So for the put away process we have different activity, for the picking process we have different, and for the counting like that.
Okay.
So this is the ERP and EWM data transfer methods. In case you have the separate box or the separate system for the EWM, then this is how the data will flow. So in SAP regular ERP, we have planned shipping point, customer, vendor. In non-HANA system, in the HANA system, we have vendor and customer grouped together as a business partner. And this is not required because EWM is embedded in ERP in the same box. But if in case the EWM is a separate box and non-HANA, then we have the data flowing through the core interface. And the distribution model is for the transactional data posting.
I have one question regarding this embedded EWM.
Sorry, may I know who is this?
My name is Shanmugam. I'm calling from Singapore.
Okay,
so,
and
Deepali asked me to attend this call. Is it a demo or is it a class?
No, that is a demo only, but I was not sure if, yeah.
I just joined when you started. One question is, let's say if it is different box, your EWM is a separate server and embedded. So what is the difference? Is a transaction code difference or a data model difference? What is the difference? Because currently I'm working in S4 HANA EWM, but previously I worked in ERP in WM. So I just want to know what is the difference.
There are quite a few difference. Okay, so we don't need the core interface because the data would be in lying in the same system, the same box. So we need not require to transfer it from ERP to EWM. The other would be in when it is a separate box, we have the outbound delivery request, the inbound delivery notification. These are getting created. However, if it is the same box, then see, these documents are just the replica of this ERP document. So if we have the EWM embedded in the same box, then we don't need this document.
And one more question regarding the RFC call. I heard there is some RFC call. When you are using S4 HANA, do you need to activate that RFC calls, or it is only applicable for ERP?
No, we need to activate the RFC call.
In EWM also?
Yes, because although EWM is embedded, but still we are calling separate transaction and the separate all the process.
Okay,
So the
but the T
distribution
codes are
model
different.
we need to activate. Yeah, T codes are altogether different, but
So
the T codes are same in the embedded version as well as the separate box.
okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how it is when it is HANA or non-HANA. We have the plant, and the plant we have two storage locations. The two storage locations are assigned to the warehouse number. Okay, so generally we have one-to-one mapping. Although SAP do not stop us from creating the structure like this, but for the simplicity and for the user friendly, we need to have one plant and storage location combination assigned to one warehouse. And the regular warehouse number is 3 characters and EWM number is 4 characters. So this warehouse number is assigned to EWM number, which is, this is assigned in the EWM box. So we have two configuration setup that we need to maintain. In the ERP, we need to maintain plant storage location assigned to the warehouse. And in EWM, we need to maintain this warehouse number assigned to the EWM warehouse number. And similarly, in the HANA system as well, we have to maintain the same double configuration because there is a separate EWM configuration altogether. So then if you see this organization structure, then warehouse, then we have a storage type that we already discussed in that spreadsheet. This is just the overview of the different type of storage types we have, which are given by SAP, but still we can create our own storage types based on the business process and the organization requirement. Then we have the storage section. As we just discussed, we have the storage section for, we talked about the heavy vehicles and the light vehicles. But in case of FMCG, you can define the storage section as the fast moving items and slow moving items. Then this is the storage bin. So that is the master data, which we can create manually in EWM. And the same thing is there in the regular WM as well. Then we have the quant. So the quant is just the characteristics of the material. So in case you have, say in our example, which we were discussed about the automobile industry, if we are getting Alto 800 LXI vehicle, then it will generate a quant for that. If we get Alto VXI vehicle, it will generate another quant for that lot. Okay, and in case we are getting again the Alto LXI, the same product, the same characteristic, same feature, then the quant, it will get added into the same quant, provided there is some material at least in the quant. Okay, and in case you are removing the complete quant altogether from the bin, then the quant number will get removed, eliminated automatically.
Is serial number also a part of quant?
No, serial number is altogether different. Okay, so the serial, have you worked on serial number earlier?
Yes, I have, especially for pharma industry. I was just wondering, since batch number is mentioned, so the quant seems like a combination of characteristics of that item, right? And batch number seems to be mentioned over here. So I was wondering if serial number.
Quant is just like the same product, the same characteristics you are placing into one bin, one group together into one slot. So that will give you the quant number, the one quant.
So let's say, for example, if I have let's say an Advil, right? For instance, a medicine.
Yes.
Then if I have let's say 10 strips of Advil into one bin, and it is from batch 1, right? And then another 10 strips of Advil into bin 2, which is of the same batch number. Then will like bin 1 have quant 1 and bin 2 have quant 2 for it?
Yes, because the quant also contains the take care of the bin number as well.
Okay.
Okay,
But
so
it's
if you are
irrespective
storing
of
the
serial
same
numbers.
Yes, I mean serial number. Say for example, the mobile phone. Every mobile phone is having a different serial number, right? So system cannot create a different quant for all the mobile phones. If you are receiving I mean say 100 mobile phones, okay, say for example Nokia 5100. If you are receiving 100 Nokia 5100 at a time, okay, then it will all, of course, all the 5100 phones will be having same characteristic feature. So it will generate just one quant. Although you will be having 100 different serial numbers in that case.
Okay. So it's at basically at a bin level then, or could like one bin have multiple quants in it?
Yes, yes. One bean can have multiple quants.
Okay.
Okay, then the activity area, which is assigned to the storage bins in EWM, and this does not exist in the regular warehouse management. So it groups storage bin based on the warehouse activities.
Is this mandatory activity area or optional?
No, there is mandatory.
Mandatory, okay. Because the WM they are not using any activity area.
Correct. In WM there is no activity area.
Okay.
Okay, then we have the consolidation group. The consolidation group is again okay. So in WM we do not have the handling unit management mandatory, but in EWM the handling unit management is mandatory. Okay, so that's why we are using there the consolidation group, so that in case we do not want two particular products, two different products to pack together in one handling unit, then we are defining two different consolidation groups for those two products. So this is just one of the concept, additional concept given in the EWM. Then
And
we have a
handling
door.
unit, I believe, is just a carton, right? A carton or a box.
Okay, so we have the handling unit as well as the storage unit. Both are different. So if you simply talk about the carton or the box, then it is a storage unit. But if you talk about box along with its packaging material, then the box plus packaging material put together will be called as a handling unit.
Okay.
Okay. So in case here the handling unit is mandatory in EWM, so thus we need to have the packaging material as well.
Okay.
Okay, then we have a door. Again, in WM the door is optional, but in EWM the door is mandatory. The reason being, EWM is being implemented where the volume is very high. Okay, the goods movement is very high. So in case we have 5 doors at the good receipt section. Okay, good receipt section we have 5 doors, and all the 5 doors are being occupied by 5 trucks, 5 different trucks. They are unloading, and in case the 6th truck comes in, then that security guard should know that all the 5 trucks are occupied, all the 5 doors are occupied by 5 different trucks. So the 6th truck will be asked to stay outside. Otherwise, it will be heavily crowded inside the warehouse, inside the premises. And that is the reason the door is mandatory in EWM. Then we have the staging area, that is the interior storage area. So for the good receipt section, we have a good receipt interior staging area, and for the good issue section, we have that different area. So this is applicable in regular WM as well. The same concept is being followed here. Okay, then we have the work center. So this is not there in WM, and it is there in EWM. The reason being, in EWM it supports additional activities as well. For example, okay, the requirement, the customer requirement is that they want to put a new label on the pallet. Say for example, it is made in India, but the customer want the label to be called as a made in say America. Okay, then we will have to move the product from the bin where it is stored to the work center. In the work center, the labeling will be done. Okay, so that is called as a value added service. The labeling, polishing, and all those will be done. And from that work center, it will be moved to the staging area for the shipment to the customer. And the same concept we have for the good receipt, where the deconsolidation is done. So deconsolidation is nothing but breaking the pallet into different products, different small handling units. And we have the work center for the counting and quality as well. So these are the following documents being used in the EWM. So the inbound delivery notification and inbound delivery are part of inbound process. The other three outbound will be the part of outbound process. Okay, then we have a warehouse request. That is nothing but the inbound delivery notification and outbound delivery request. So warehouse task is created with reference to the warehouse request. Okay, that is the same concept as that of the transfer request in WM. So warehouse task is just the request for the goods movement, and warehouse order is the actual goods movement. Okay, then we have the handling unit that we already discussed, then the transportation unit and the vehicle. So the transportation unit and vehicle are not there in WM, but it is there in EWM. And the transportation unit is mandatory, the vehicle is optional. Okay.
So in this, I had a quick question. Inbound delivery notification and inbound delivery, are these like ASNs, advanced shipping notice, or?
No. ASN, those are you are going into the EDI direction. Okay, so
Okay.
ASN we are getting from vendor, we are sending it to customer. All those are EDI messages.
Okay.
But the inbound delivery notification is the interface between this ERP and EWM. It is not the advanced shipping notification. Inbound delivery notification is the replica of ECC inbound delivery into EWM inbound delivery notification.
Which is
And
like
then
a purchase order, or?
no, purchase order is different document altogether. So when you see, okay, we will see that in coming slides.
Okay.
So this we already talked about inbound delivery and all, and then posting change. This is like a transfer posting. So again, we will see. So warehouse request, task, and order. I already talked about. Okay, so this is the inbound process. So the purchase order we create in ERP with reference to purchase order, we create the inbound delivery. This inbound delivery gets copied. The same data flows into the inbound delivery notification.
Okay.
So when you distribute there is an additional step in ERP to distribute the inbound delivery into EWM. So once we distribute, it will be inbound delivery notification and inbound delivery gets created. So this is the ERP data and this contains the EWM data.
And this architecture is true irrespective of whether EWM is part of ERP like S4HANA or whether it's a separate box.
No, it is for the separate box. If it is the same,
Okay.
then we do not have the notification.
Okay. So then there will be only like purchase order and inbound delivery, which will be used
Purchase
by
order,
EWM.
inbound delivery, and then inbound delivery in EWM. Two inbound deliveries, but the numbers would be different.
Okay. Got you.
Because in EWM, it is all again, it is calling the same functionalities. So the transaction codes are different and everything is different.
So they'll have separate number series potentially, like ERP inbound delivery as against.
Correct.
Okay.
There's separate number series for the EWM inbound delivery.
Okay.
So this is the flow chart. The delivery is created and we get the inbound delivery notification. The inbound delivery gets created with reference to that the warehouse request. And then the warehouse task, warehouse order to post the good receipt. And if we change the inbound delivery, it will do the subsequent changes in the other system as well.
Okay. And where does ASN come into picture over here? Like, I mean, if
ASN is the EDI, Advanced Shipping Notification, which we are sending to customer, okay, and which we are receiving from vendor. So
right.
that is altogether different. That is a part of, if it is a ASN from vendor, then it is a part of P2P process. If it is ASN to customer, then it is a part of logistics process.
Right. But like, I mean,
So
normally, like, just from my experience, right, there's one PO against which you could get like multiple shipments from vendor, right? So for each shipment, they'll normally send ASNs, and then you do a GR against that ASN. At least that's how, like,
correct.
yeah.
That is true.
So
That is true. So in the regular process which you are talking about, purchase order is created with say 100 units.
right.
You will get 10 shipment from the vendor of 10 units each, for example, which will create 10 different inbound deliveries. And
Okay.
then you can post the good received with reference to 10 different inbound deliveries. So if that is
Perfect.
EWM manage, if it is the EWM manage and we go with the vendor ASN, then with reference to purchase order, you will get 10 different inbound deliveries
Inbound deliveries. Okay.
created through ASNs. Thus, 10 different inbound deliveries will create 10 different inbound delivery notification in EWM.
Okay. Perfect.
And all those will be processed individually. Okay, and 10 different good receipts will be posted.
Sure, makes sense.
And similarly for the outbound. So sales order, outbound delivery, the outbound delivery being replicated in outbound delivery request. Then we get the outbound delivery order, and we are doing processing all the documents with reference to outbound delivery order. So this outbound delivery, the additional number gets generated in the background in EWM. Okay, and ASN to customer is flowing from here, the outbound delivery in ERP.
Right.
So when you complete the PGI here, it will update the PGI in ERP, and it will trigger the ASN out of this outbound delivery to the customer.
Okay.
So again, this is the regular flow chart, and this is the posting change. It is like transfer posting. When you do the MIGO to move the stock from unrestricted to block, okay, then if like that, similarly, you have the EWM, where you can move the stock from unrestricted to block within EWM. And this is for this moving stock from one storage location to another. Okay, so this is the transfer posting, which we call as a posting change in EWM. So when you create, when you call the 311 movement in MIGO to move the stock from the ERP managed storage location to the EWM, or EWM managed storage location to the ERP, or both EWM, then it will create the delivery. Okay, so if it is EWM storage location to EWM storage location, then it will create the outbound delivery. The outbound delivery will create the posting change notice, and then you will move the stock. So like that.
So I have like I was a little bit confused over here. Are these like stock transfer orders, or are these like movements from let's say it was damaged and then someone did a quality inspection and then it moved to available status? So are these
Yes.
like status changes, or are these like movement from one warehouse to another warehouse, like stock transfer orders?
No. For the stock transfer order, we have the outbound process first, and then we have the inbound process later.
Right.
But within the warehouse, if you want to move, then this is the case.
Okay. And is it does it have to be like is it normally initiated? I'm a like I'm not very conversant with MIGO and all that transactions, so I'm just like inquiring. Are normally what I've seen is like WM initiates these transfers. So for instance, like on the floor, if I have a person who sees that the box is damaged, then he will like take it to quality area, and WM will initiate, okay, the box is damaged but the content inside is good, right? So then
Correct.
then
So
they
in
actually Right.
In EWM, you have ADHU transaction where you can initiate. Okay.
Okay.
And this is the case in case you are doing the moving the stock from storage location to storage location within a warehouse.
Okay. And then that has to be initiated in MM module first and then executed in EWM.
Yes, and in case you want to upload the stock, then you have both the options. Either this can be done in ERP and then update in the EWM, or this can be done in the EWM and then update in the ERP, like that.
Oh, okay. So it goes the other way around as well, like based on need.
That is true.
Okay.
Okay, so the post processing framework, this is just like a message control. In regular ECC, you have NAST, right? In S4 HANA, you have BRF plus. In EWM, you have PPF, post processing framework. Okay,
And what are these like? I'm not aware of these other SAP terminologies as well.
no, those are in case you want to print the for example, you have created the purchase order and you want to send the purchase order copy printout to the vendor.
Okay.
Okay, so that output gets triggered in ERP.
Okay. So these are like labels or document prints like PO or ASN verification or something like that.
No, that the example that I gave you from purchase order was for the PO, but in the EWM it will be like handling unit print or the warehouse order print and all those.
Okay.
This is a bit complicated, the PPF. Okay, so in earlier in regular ERP we have NAST, which was a simpler version. In S4 HANA, the same thing we can do in BRF plus. That is heavily complex. And then in EWM we have PPF, which is even further complex.
But it's mainly used for like printing documents, right? Like it could be a shipping label or your pick list.
I mean, this is used for printing document as well, in addition to
Okay.
calling out the subsequent functions in EWM. But in ERP, NAST and BRF plus, what I said, that was used either to print the document or to trigger the IDOC or to send the fax and to send the email like that.
Okay. So it's kind of a workflow as well, like it will control what your subsequent transactions or flow is.
No, I mean, in workflow, you have an option to pass it to, the senior level for approval and all those things. But those kind of features are not here. Those are still there with workflow only.
Okay.
Okay, so just, I mean, for the sake of simplicity, this is the post processing framework. Say, for example, you want to print the pallet label. Okay, you have done the production. In the production, you have created the pallet. You have created the material. The material is packed into different boxes. The different boxes are put together in a pallet. Now you want to label that pallet, that this pallet contains this material of this batch and this many quantities, and this is the handling unit number. So that you can achieve by printing the label, and the label will be printed through the PPF, by not only through the PPF alone, but PPF is just one of the steps in getting the label achieved.
Okay.
So in that we have different steps: action profile, action definition, and all those. And these are the other EWM terminologies. The warehouse process type, that is just a movement type in ERP. To move the product, that is for the goods movement. The warehouse order creation rule is again, we can set up the rule so that for say one delivery, it creates one order, or we create the order for the one pallet and then subsequent order for the other partial pallet, like that. Then the storage control, the process oriented storage control, we have two types of storage control, both for the inbound and the inbound process, that is the put away, and the outbound process for the removal. The process oriented and the layout oriented. The process oriented is like, for example, you receive the product, the pallet from the vendor. Okay, then you have to break the pallet into different pallets, different small handling units. Okay, so this is one of the additional steps, and then you need to move that into the destination, two different destination bins. Okay, so here you will be having an additional step of deconsolidation. So after good receipt is done, you will move it into the deconsolidation work center. Let me know if you are getting confused. The deconsolidation work center, I mean a separate work center or a separate department in your warehouse, where you will be breaking the pallet into two small pallets based on the material or batch or whatever the requirement is, and then moving that into the separate destination bin as per the stock.
Okay.
That is the
I had a
process
quick
oriented
one question over here. So what is exactly the difference between like a staging location as against a work center? Because you're
Okay,
actually
so
taking it to, yeah.
no, the staging area is so we have a separate staging area for the good receipt. Like when the goods are received, it will be received in a staging area first,
Sure.
and then staging area to the destination bin. Then we have a separate staging area for the good issue, because before loading into the truck, we need to move it from the bin where it is currently stored to the staging area.
Sure.
So staging area is just the interface between the EWM and you can say for the WM, we can say it is the interface between the IM and the WM, MM and the WM. But here you can say it is the interface between the destination bin and the truck in case of the good issue section, good issue shipping process, and say for example from the truck and the bin in case of the inbound process.
Right.
But the work center is altogether different. We have a work center where we are moving the pallet to carry out some additional activities. Okay, so the regular process is get it from the, unload from the truck and move it into the staging area. Okay, and then move it into the bin. Then from the bin, move it into the production staging area, then complete the production. Then from the production, it is stored in the destination bin again, and from the bin again move it into the staging area and then do the good receipt, load into the truck. This is the regular simplest process. But if you want to go for polishing, or you want to go for cycle counting, if you want to carry out quality inspection, if you want to do the labeling or like that, the additional value added activities, then you will have to take the pallet into the work center.
I have one question. Let's say you are moving a product from the bin to the work center. So this time is are you in sorry, do you need to create any work order or task, or just you are tracking it offline?
No, not offline.
So you got some moment from the bin to work center is you have to create a work order or task.
Yes, but
tracked.
Okay, so we do the setup so that it will. Once we save the warehouse order, okay, when we say, for example, we have completed the picking, okay, then it will automatically take us to the work center.
Oh, if the setup is there.
No, not there. We have to do the setup.
Setup, okay. So it's not for all the product, right? Only for a specific product, it has to go through the work center. Some directly you can go to the bin. while receiving.
In the standard default EWM setup, everything will be going from say into the bin and out of the bin, but it's up to the business process or the organization process uh, where they have to define which product will be going into the work center for polishing, for labeling and all. If they do not want to go for labeling and all those things, then there is no need to get the work center.
So it is coming from the material master, is it?
No, I mean in EWM we have a product master, and that is not coming from product master. It is a configuration.
Okay.
So we have to create the work center, okay, and then we have to do the subsequent setups. In the process oriented storage control, we have to make give the movement type, in our case the warehouse process type, to move the product from the bin to the work center, like that.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay, and similarly for the layout oriented storage control, so the example which I have given here, suppose we have the 9 floors here, okay, and we have received the good here in the first floor, and we want to move it here in this bin. Okay, so there will be a separate task. The first task would be good receipt staging area to the first floor, this floor. The second task would be first floor to the 9th floor, and the third task would be from the 9th floor to the destination bin. So this is required in case the warehouse is very big and complex, and you would like to enable the layout oriented storage control. Okay, that is optional. And then the
So is it like
replenishment.
defining just like question regarding layout oriented storage control? Is it just like defining, okay, if any of my products land into, let's say, this area, then what is its next subsequent location that it should go to? Like you define
Correct.
steps over there. Okay.
Correct. In the configuration setup, we define the step. Okay. For this particular warehouse. This warehouse is heavily complex, and we want to define, activate the layout oriented storage control in that. So this will be the step. This is the layout, like the first
Are
floor,
you sharing something
floor.
other than the presentation?
No, this is just a demo. This is just a demo, and they have not given me the system access. So I will just be giving the presentation, and we have already crossed the limit, already close to 1 hour. Okay, then we have the replenishment. The replenishment, that is the same as that in the WM. In case the stock level goes down below the minimum quantity, then we will be creating the replenishment warehouse task and filling it. In the deconsolidation we already talked about. Then the exceptional handling. The exception handling in case the HU is damaged, or you want to change the handling unit at the time of picking, and all those exception cases, you call the exception code and do that. And the put away and picking strategies are just as per the regular WM. The put away, the stock placement, and the picking, the stock removal strategy. Then there is an additional concept of pick denial. If we cannot get the enough stock, then if there is no enough stock in the warehouse, or if some of the quantities are damaged, then we cannot fulfill the delivery. So we will just pick and PGI the partial delivery and send the message of pick denial that there are certain quantities short of the requirement. Then the slotting and rearrangement. This is a very advanced feature in the EWM, which means it is just like an optimization where the suitable storage type section are determined, and then help us to manage the space and efficiency in the warehouse. Okay, that's it from my side.
Okay, so Ashish, So we mentioned that I had questions around this certification for 9.5 version, right? So one of the things that I heard was like these transactions between WM, which is part of ERP, as against EWM, are completely different, right? So for
Correct.
which version are we going to study as a part of this course, and what is expected for that 9.5 version of certification?
No, I mean, if the nine, see, that is very advanced EWM 9.5.
Okay.
Okay, so that contains labor management, yard management, and several other things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are not comfortable with the regular WM terminologies and functionalities, then it will be challenging for you to complete EWM certification.
Okay. But are we
Generally,
like
the yeah,
completing those as well as a part of this course? Labor management, yard management.
no. Those are not there in the course structure which Nitika has given me.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that helps.
Okay, Nikita, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, so